What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Clocks on the Stove, episode 117. Little sports pod for you. We're in that weird part of the year where it's like a lot's going on, but nothing's going on at the same time, if that makes any sense. Your usual host, myself, Grayson Fisher. With me, my blonde hair, blue eyed demon, Mr. Zachary Watts.
You're
And our special guest, the very first ever, the one and only Clocks on the Stove fantasy football champion, Mr. Sun God himself, Matthew McDonald.
I'm happy to be back and just want to say I'm honored to be the first ever champion on Clocks on the Stove. Um, I will lead a legacy that will never be beaten.
Yeah, we'll see.
It started this year and it's not stopping. Okay. I'm coming for the two-peat.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well,
I honestly had a lot of fun doing this first year fantasy. It did suck being in the race for last. So I was nervous a lot. Also, while we're on that topic, we do need to come up with donuts as punishment. That needs to happen. Let's get that in the chat pretty soon. I defeated Ryan Donuts in the last place game. So yeah. So you win some, you lose some, but hey, I didn't take last.
well,
Zach, you guys went to war in the finals.
we did. Yeah. I'll say this. Why don't we throw out some fantasy punishment ideas? Maybe we can.
My favorite. The issue is, here's the issue. Here's my issue. My favorite punishment doesn't work for Donuts because he would like it too much.
There's no way he would. There was no way he would.
The Drew Walls video.
Dude, he already dislikes posting on social media. I think it would slowly like chip into his like wall of like as a human.
I think a week's worth, Sunday to Sunday of a Drew Walls video we posted is great.
You have to tell me what a Drew Walls video is.
It's that you never seen that black guy that like has a tripod and he's like posting.
Oh, okay, that guy, the target run. Yeah.
Yeah. But Donuts has to do that. Donuts has to do that with his regular life. So it's him just like cutting a grass, like getting his
every single video has to have a Drake song in the background too.
Yeah, of course.
Like a classic Drake song.
I mean, honestly, I work with him every day, so I could probably just record his entire day.
But dude, that's not the thing. It needs to be on a tripod. That's what makes it so golden.
Indeed. Yeah, we could probably roll with that.
Yeah, we'll definitely throw some ideas out in the chat. I also like the hot chip challenge. I think that's a good one too. I know that sucks.
Yeah.
Shout out Matthew Daner. He ate one time and he ended up falling asleep on the toilet because he was too scared to leave the toilet.
Which orifice was he most afraid of? Was it the mouth or the?
I think he might have like fallen asleep like this. So if he threw up, it just went like right down.
Yes. I mean,
I actually in my other league, we have our punishment as you make a TikTok account and you have to get 20,000 likes by the next draft.
Damn, that's a good punishment.
Like total.
Yeah, that's hard, bro. Do we have 20,000?
It's hard. It's hard. And the guy, shout out Bob, he won't even try. Like he's had 2 posts since he's lost. And we're like, bro, you need 20,000 likes.
So what if he doesn't get the 20K?
All right, let's put this in perspective.
He's booted from the league because we have 13 people that want to play and there's only 12 spots.
Damn.
My phone is not working right now. Wait, I want to put this in perspective real quick. So he has how long? A year? No, a little less than a year. Probably what?
So the fantasy football draft. I'll tell you the date of like a fantasy football draft.
Bro. Damn. All right, so I'll put it in perspective. He has around 8 months, okay, to get 20,000 likes. Our TikTok account is almost 2 years old, and we have 8,000 likes.
Yeah, there's no shot. He'd have to post like multiple times a day.
Yeah, you'd have to.
He also like all he has to do is blow up one time. Like he could easily make
It's not that easy. We've been trying for 2 years,
dude.
It's not that easy.
There are people that are doing these target runs for fantasy football.
I know, dude.
And they're getting
Matt, but banking on
30,000 likes in one video.
You can't just bank on it. Oh, this video is gonna blow up.
Yeah, but
I have been grinding this podcast for 3 years, and we haven't just blown up yet.
All it takes is one, though.
I agree, but it doesn't. It's not just post one that blows up. It's post 500 and one of the 500 blow up.
It's a numbers game. It's sales. It's the same shit.
No, it's all an algorithm. It's all the algorithm.
All right, wait. I feel like we could do the math on this. If he has 8 months to do it, how many likes are we thinking like per video?
How many videos do you think we have?
Well,
Well,
let's just say there's 30 days in each month, so you have 8 times 30. You have 240 days. Divide that by
By what, 20,000 likes? And how many days? 240?
that's 83.
83 likes a day. That's hard. That's hard.
Dude, if you're averaging
That's
like,
Dude,
hard.
and he's not posting. He's not
Yeah,
posting.
that's
He's like, I
hard.
don't
yeah,
care.
He's
you
booted.
say
He's
that.
booted.
He's
He's
gonna
one
be
of those
booted.
kids. I listen, I don't know this kid, so I'm not trying to talk mad smack, but the vibe I'm getting off is he's the kid that likes to point at the kid that fell, but when he's the kid that falls, he's like, "Stop laughing. Stop laughing."
Shout out, Bob.
Bob, not your day, man.
But hey, let's get this thing moving. Yeah, Matt, shout you out. Awesome job winning the fantasy league. Next year we'll definitely
And well fought against Zach. It was a worthy opponent. Had a great team. We had in the last week we had to play a lot of different people than what our teams usually should be,
which was Zach's fault.
which
Hey,
was Zach's fault. But at the same time, if it was week 17 championship, I would have still beat Zach. So
Amen. Hey,
amen.
same with me and Donez. Also, shout out Jackson Masters for probably the comeback of the year. He went from buried in last because he fell asleep during the draft to I think sixth place. I think he took sixth,
Hmm.
sixth or seventh. So
yep.
shout out Jackson, dude.
Yeah, solid. I mean, I did make a last second trade with him, which people tried to shit on me for, and then it
What
ended
is it?
up.
What was the trade?
Dude, I got Travis Kelsey, Tank Dell for Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, and one other receiver. And
Oh, I remember. And the group chat went wild.
Olave scored more than all of those other people combined. So whoever got
yeah,
Olave won.
I got screwed over because Tank Dell, after I traded for him, went off and then got
Yeah.
hurt. So then I was like, okay, that trade pretty much did nothing
Did
for
y'all
me.
see the video of PMT where they acted like Tank Dell was a made up name?
No way.
Yeah, it's a good clip. Just check it out. But anyways, we gotta get the ball rolling with this. Fantasy football, it was awesome. It sucks it's over. We'll be back next year. We're gonna make some adjustments. We'll also probably as it gets closer, probably get a little more not insight, but like ideas from our champions, some ideas people want to throw out there. Um, but let's dive in real quick to some college football. We had the college football playoffs. Um, a lot of disagreements with the teams that should have been in. It is what it is. At the end of the day, number one Michigan defeated number four Alabama in the semis, and then we had number two Washington defeat number three Texas in the semis, and then Michigan put a low key beating on Washington in the national championship to get their first national title of I don't know how long, but long time. Um,
Before Donuts or Caleb were born. I can
yes,
guarantee.
before Donuts or Caleb were born. What are your guys' thoughts on our college football playoff aftermath?
Um, let's think about this. Going into the game, I had already gone in with the perspective that Michigan was the more talented team. I just thought Washington was going to play a lot better football in order to win the football game. What I saw out of Washington was not the Washington that I saw play Texas, but in the same go, like Michigan did their job like every week of the season. Like there was very little question of they whether or not they could or couldn't, but whether or not they should. Um, I don't really care to talk about the allegations and stuff because like the more I just look on social media and people want to comment on it and make a big deal out of it, I'm like, dude, 10, 15 years from now, you're not going to bring that up. Like it really doesn't matter that much. I mean, I get it. It's a big talking point in the season, but I feel like if it was a bigger deal, it would have gotten handled. But regardless, congrats to Michigan. Congrats to Caleb and Ryan. I'm sure they will live for that for the next 40 years or whenever their next title comes along. Because
They ain't getting one soon.
yeah, they ain't gonna be back. They are not gonna be back. Unfortunately, you know who else is not gonna be back? Alabama probably, but we'll get
There at
um,
least for a little bit. At least for a little bit.
yeah, at least
A
for a
great
little.
segue
Yeah, indeed. Matt, some words.
about Michigan.
It's
Just
about playoffs in general.
playoffs in general. We'll get to the Saban stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched the first half and then like probably the first two drives of the second, and then realized it was over. And then I just turned it off. It's I'm definitely hurt about the Gators, and it just kind of when I get to the college football playoff and the Gators aren't even in question, I don't really care as much, especially when there's no SEC. But I think Michigan is a great team and a deserving team. I would have liked to see a more fun game. I think Penix, um, I think it may have gotten to his head a little bit. A little bit. I think he was overthrowing people, underthrowing people, wide open people that could have changed the game. I think, especially early on, they're kicking field goals when they should have gone for a touchdown instead. So, but it's well deserved by Michigan, and it was fun to see Dave Portnoy go crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like watching the game, I feel like what I came to a slow realization of was like even though Washington, I think they won the award for best O-line in the country, if I'm not mistaken. I need to be double checked on that. But they did have one of the better.
I know for a fact Michigan was rated the number 1 defense in the country.
Yeah, Michigan showed why they have some dogs on defense. I mean, they had some of the most unrelenting pressure, and we saw that in the Alabama game. Like Milroe was getting sacked relentlessly, but just the amount of pressure they're able to put up with their front seven was absolutely ridiculous. Dude, it looked like Washington's game plan was we're going to throw screen passes every other down, like every other down. It did not matter. Like very limited deep shots. And when you don't have that many deep shots, you're not going to be able to build up that confidence to consistently hit them downfield. I mean, when they did try to go for the deep ball, it just didn't seem like he either thrown enough or like hadn't really gotten to a rhythm with any of his guys to make a connection downfield. And even when they did, got called back. So like nothing seemed to be going Washington's way throughout the entire game. But I feel like we got what we expected out of Michigan. We just expected more out of Washington, or that's at least how I saw it. But anyway, since
I want to get I'm sorry, my phone just blew up real quick. First things first, my Twitter is just, I don't know who number 73 is for Washington, but that poor soul. My Twitter has just been people flaming him, just like saying he lost them the game and like he didn't do too well.
What did he do though? Like I haven't
They
seen
were
it.
about they hit a 40-yard pass to Adunes, okay, wide open 40-yard pass. They're down 13-20 in the fourth, beginning of the fourth. They're like clear shot to tie the game up. Gets called back because of a real I think it was like a holding call that had nothing to do with the play. Like he didn't even need to hold the guy.
Really?
Yeah,
and then a lot of false starts too.
Yeah, and he had a bunch of things. I want to piggyback off of what Matt said. Pennington looked like he got scared. My first thing is when I watched that game, I'm wondering if Penix was banged up going into it, and if that was a factor because he's injury prone. We know this; he's always injured. The second thing is I don't know if it was as much Penix or his O line getting bullied. That front seven of Bama of Michigan did a phenomenal job at keeping pressure, and it was to the extent where I remember the announcers talking about it. Even when they got to like their half of the field, they were blitzing and giving up a coverage because they cared more about getting to Penix than they did like trying to lock everybody down. And it worked in their favor. It worked extremely well. Um, and it goes back to my belief of football, and this is something Zach and I have talked about time in and time again in the podcast. The most important aspect of the game is the trenches. I don't care what you say. I don't care how good your quarterback is. I don't care how good your receivers are. If you have the best offensive line, they will open up the best run gaps, and they will give your quarterback the most time to throw the ball and your receivers the most time to run their routes. If you have the best D line, they will shut down the run gaps and they will get to the quarterback so your linebackers and DBs don't have to cover as long, and the run threat's easier when your D line stuffs everything.
Look at the last 5 champions.
Amazing
Disgusting.
trenches. Amazing in the trenches.
Disgusting trenches.
Amazing. And I think I don't think Washington was bad there. I don't think they were excellent there. And the difference is Michigan was excellent there to the extent where I'm going to get hate on this, but their starting quarterback threw 10 passes in the national championship and they were still able to win 34-13. That's how good their trenches were.
It's like Brock Purdy.
Exactly. I don't know about that, but it's just like it's a very key part of the game, and it's a big wake up call for Washington because you're going to play Michigan-esque teams Nine times out of 10 in the Big Ten, you're going to play teams that aren't that fast, but they are bullies up front, and that's where you're going. So there's going to be some adaptability. I still think you give Kalen DeBar, that's his name, Kalen DeBar.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer.
I think he deserves head coach of the year. I don't think there's an argument there. What he did in 2 years at Washington is outstanding. And I don't think that Washington team should be written off. I'm tired of people saying they didn't deserve to be there. No, they deserve to be there. They just lost. And we live in this era now where if somebody loses, it's like, oh, they deserve to be there. They just lost. They deserve to be there more than anybody else. They beat Oregon twice. They ran through the Pac-12. Michael Penix was the number 2 to the Heisman. They did everything right. They just lost a game, and it happens. It's also the first time Washington's really been on a stage that big, I think almost ever, or as long as I can recall. I mean, they beat Alabama in the semis, but
they were in the playoff.
They knew they were going to get clapped there. Everybody knew they were going to get clapped there. This was the first time where it was like, Washington might win a natty. It was like,
see, I don't know if I can agree with that, because the whole reason you open up a 12-team format is so that you don't like if you're in the 12, like you're good enough to win it. It's just whether obviously
dude, but that team, that Washington team in 2014 or 2015, the year after, extremely talented, extremely good football team.
Jake Browning, Vita Bea, they had
John Ross. Very good defense. They had a very good defense, but their offense wasn't shit. They had John Ross, and once you shut down John Ross, it was GG's. Okay, and that's what happened in the game. They scored the first opening drive, and then they lost like 30-7. They didn't score again. Anyways, that's beside the point. Washington was a good team. I loved watching them. And last thing I'm gonna say on this, at the end of the game, I don't know if you guys saw this clip, but it actually really warmed my heart. At the end of the game, Michael Penix has a towel over his head and he's crying and he's walking into the tunnel. And Jalen Harrell, so Michael Penix is Tampa Boy, went to Tampa Bay Tech. Jalen Harrell plays linebacker / defensive end for Michigan. He went to Berkeley, so he's a Tampa Boy too. He came sprinting down from the other side of the field to go give Michael Penix a hug in the tunnel and was like, "Hey, Tampa Boy's on top. Keep your head up." Like that's awesome, dude. It's cool to see kids from Tampa representing and showing love to each other,
Yeah.
Hometown vibes. We are all Tampa natives.
813.
813 for life. Since I brought it up earlier, we might as well just hop right into it. Nick Saban has officially announced his retirement from college football and football in general, for that matter. The man, I believe, had 50 consecutive years of coaching, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that he's able
counts as that count. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That counts as like an assistant and all that stuff too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because Bill was 49 years, and
insane, dude.
Saban was 15. Yeah, but regardless, obviously the greatest college football coach of all time. I don't have his resume in front of me, but I can tell you right now,
7 national titles. I think he never won an SEC champ actually until this year. He never won an SEC championship and lost in the Natty until this year. Yeah. And he never played. I want to say the last 8 SEC championships they played in, or 7, they won.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that true?
Yeah, and that's why Georgia fans were like, shit.
Yeah. Regardless, though, the GOAT, while I was checking over some of his just insane resume, accolades, accomplishments, achievements, you can just look it up, Saban on Twitter, and they will literally glaze this man. Rightfully so, because what he has done for the college football world is just absolutely insane. But I did see this one thing, and there are 4 teams in the SEC that have never won against Nick Saban, and now they never will.
All right, I want to try this.
I would like you guys to name
the only one that does Matt look at it too? Does he know?
No, I have no idea. But I can probably guess.
Matt, get your Walmart ass internet connection out of here, bro.
Oh, what happened? What happened? I'm sorry, guys.
All right, but Matt, did you see the list or no?
No.
So we know off rip it's Vandy's one. Vandy's one of them.
Vandy is 0-4. They are 1. There's another team tied with.
I'm gonna let Matt go next.
Missouri for sure.
Missouri is also 0-4.
I'm gonna go Mississippi State.
Negative. Mississippi State has had a win against Nick.
Damn. When was that?
I believe it was Dak Prescott.
Oh, they lost that year. Dak was they were number 1 in the country and lost to Alabama.
Well, Mississippi State has a win against Alabama.
All right, so
I want to say Kentucky.
Kentucky is 0-6. They are
Oh shit! All right, so we got Vandy, Mizzou, and Kentucky.
Yeah, this one is by far the worst team that has ever played Saban. Like, just
Over Vandy?
they
And
Vandy
they're in the SEC,
Vandy's 0-4. Vandy is 0-4 all time versus Nick Saban. This team is 0-17.
and they're in the SEC right
They're,
now.
and they're
It's
in
not
the SEC.
Auburn. It's not Georgia. It's not Texas A&M. It's not
Who
Ole
are we
Miss.
missing? There's one team
I'm trying to help you, bro. Listen, it's not Auburn. It's not Ole Miss. It's not Georgia. It's not Florida. It's not
Where's
LSU. It's not LSU.
wow.
Um,
Oh, we're bad.
it's not Texas A&M.
Mhm.
Tulane was originally in the SEC.
No, they're still in the SEC right now.
Okay. Wow. I know it's right there in front of me.
I know. It's bothering me.
I'll give you
No,
a
no hits, no hits, no hits,
No,
no hits.
no,
No hits.
no.
All right, it can't be Missouri. It can't be Texas A&M.
It's not Tennessee.
nope.
No, Tennessee beat them. Tennessee beat them.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, who are the other teams?
Arkansas?
It is Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas is 0-17.
Wow.
Damn.
0-17.
So what? Mizzou, Vandy, Arkansas, and who's the other one?
Kentucky.
Damn.
So
Because Kentucky like just got good. They've been ass forever.
Yeah, but they're pretty solid now.
Yeah.
yeah, but with Nick Saban leaving, obviously the ramifications of this are few and far in between. I mean, instant effect in college football. I believe they already have 8 or 9 players that have hit the portal. Many more to come. I can promise you that, because when you commit to the University of Alabama, you are committing to play football for Nick Saban.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. Well, the thing is too that's crazy is the thing that's crazy about it, his D coordinator retired 2 days before, and everyone was like, "What the hell? Why did this guy retire?" And then he followed. And what I'm reading on Twitter, like I said, it's Twitter. It's not anything crazy. Is that basically we're going to see in the next 2 to 3 years a lot of coaches like Nick Saban, like older guys, they're all going to start retiring because this new era of NIL and transfer and stuff, they don't like it, and it's just not the college football they grew up with, and they're just gonna stop. And I think Saban put all of his tokens into this year and was like, "This is the year we got to do it." I did see a tweet though that was like Jalen Milroe was so bad, Nick Saban decided to retire, then to come back and try to win something with them.
No, the funniest tweet I saw, it was like kind of a coincidence that the same year that Dodge discontinues the Challenger, Nick Saban retires. Like, no, very suspect, Nick Saban. But
His last play ever is a QB run up the middle for
Okay, yes, but
-1
that was
yard.
not the design play. I hate how
not-
everyone keeps shitting on him for that.
that was
It
not
was supposed to be a what's called a run pass option, but the freaking center put in the dirt. So Miller
Yeah.
had no choice but to run.
That center, how is he playing for Alabama?
And it bothers me, bro, because I'm not an Alabama fan by any means. It bothers me that people are like, "Why do you call that? That's such a bad." He didn't call that play. The center messed it up. But just like our friend that we know that snapped the bad snap for Ohio State, the centers never get the blame. They never get blamed.
never ever. But with Nick Saban retiring, obviously that has some openings for the Alabama head coaching position. I'm going to list off some of the popular candidates that have been brought up. I'm gonna also mention a name that I absolutely hate. The fact that it's even in the criteria for the head coaching position is just an absolute joke to me. But here we go. Dan Lanning.
No, he's already back at Oregon. It's committed. Like, it's confirmed.
I'm just saying. Dabo Sweeney, Lane Kiffin, Kalen DeBoer, Mike Norvell, and the one that I hate the most.
Kalen DeBoer? No shot.
And the one that I hate the most is James Franklin. There is no way in hell James Franklin will ever step foot on the University of Alabama's campus. I need y'all to know this right now. I didn't write this article. I did not write this article.
What? He can't even win in the Big Ten.
Hey, I share the same sentiments. I'm fully on board. I don't know why his name is even brought up at all. But
what?
Honestly, there's probably betting odds on it right now. Let's just see what the betting odds
Could we
are.
bet against it? Can I bet that it's not going to be James Franklin?
Probably not. No.
I bet everything I own.
As of a couple hours ago, oh my. Mike Norvell's plus 200. He leads everything. Dabo Sweeney's plus 300.
That's why I see them. I see Dabo or Lane. That makes the most sense to me.
I think Dabo for sure.
Kalen DeBoer is plus 300.
That doesn't make
Except
sense though.
Dabo may have life set in Clemson.
Brother, your life is set in Alabama.
No, but I'm saying like
Forever.
not like money wise. I'm talking about like he probably has like a whole community over there. He probably has
Nick
like
Saban could run for mayor of Tuscaloosa, and he actually would win. Like he literally would win.
I'm not even lying. He could run as
yeah,
a
but that's Nick Saban. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, Dabo's built something in Clemson.
I understand, brother, but he ain't winning shit.
Hey, he may have built Rome. Rome ain't there, baby.
Yeah, dude, Dabo, dude, brother. The more and more I learned, ever since Jimbo left us, the more I learned they're gonna chase where they think the grass is greener. It has nothing to do with where they're at.
Money, baby. Money.
Because
And
Jimbo left a national championship program to go 7-5 for 4 years. Actually, he went 5-7 one year.
And then got paid at racks to now do nothing with his life.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm gonna name some of these other ones. Lane Kiffin at plus 600. D'Amico Ryans is at plus 800, the Texans coach who literally just took the Texans to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So then you have a significant drop off. You go James Franklin plus 4,000, Pat Shermer plus 4,000.
Pat Shermer. Who's Pat Shermer?
He's the Colorado defensive coordinator. I'm not sure. I know he's a coach at Colorado. Steve Sarkisian plus 4,000, and then at plus 5,000 we have Billy Napier.
No way.
So there's
no shot.
My personal favorite would be Ed Ogeron. That'd be my dream. Also, can we acknowledge it's kind of weird Brian Kelly's name's not in there?
Yeah.
Brian Kelly.
He ain't built for that.
Go
All I know is Kellen DeBoer is 104-12 as a head coach. You give him a blank check and you say
was he before Washington, Fresno State. That's right, Fresno State.
Yeah, I would. If I'm Alabama, you get Kalen DeBoer.
Nah, dude, he's not SEC football. That's not SEC football.
104-12 speaks for itself.
I think you go Dabo. I think Dabo or Lane are your best. You need somebody.
You took a Pac-12 team.
Zach, I understand, but you need somebody that has Southeast recruiting ties. He doesn't have that.
Who was the coach before Saban?
Buddy, I was
fucking no, dude.
God, what the hell? He joined in what? 07?
Yeah. I was in diapers almost.
You were 7.
Yeah, they were still teaching me some bullshit in school. I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, you do that. Anything else college football? Do you want to talk about this or no?
I feel like we do need to bring it up because I feel like
you don't think it's more of a talk.
Matt, it'll give Matt a chance to shit on us, so it may just be clip material. So Matt, I'll just kind of de-wade to your LeBron off the backboard right now. Florida State is hit with an NIL punishment. I was reading up on the article a little bit, but essentially what happened was our offensive coordinator Atkins and
allegedly.
This is not allegedly. This is
allegedly.
It happened, brother.
Alleged. Is there pictures or videos of proof?
Brother, they got suspended for it, and we immediately came to an agreement on all of our punishments. And I feel like you don't agree to this shit unless you're.
Yeah, definitely.
Brother, if you're innocent, you
fight it. Yeah, you fight it.
Yeah, you fight.
Yeah.
You don't.
I didn't know they accepted it. I didn't know that part.
Oh, we accepted very fast.
I didn't know that part.
Regardless, pretty much had a highly touted transfer portal prospect on campus for a visit, and an unnamed booster who they refused to name, but he's no longer a part of the thing for a couple of years. That was part of the deal with the suspension. But he pretty much was
no longer a booster.
Yeah, for at least 3 years. But he looked at the recruit and he's like, "Yeah, if you come play at Florida State, I'll pay you $15,000 a month." And yeah, I think a lot of people would have taken that deal, but the player immediately returned to his school, went back, and turns out people found out. So yeah, that tends to happen because you got to snitch sometimes, man. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. Not a Florida State Seminole, no loyalty to us. I understand it, especially if you're not returning. Especially if you're not committed to Florida State, you're obviously gonna want to throw them under the bus. Look, my only comments before I let Matt just absolutely rip us a new one are, it's very sad to see how the end of the season has unfolded compared to what we started with. I had such high expectations, and then I feel like since the Jordan Travis injury, this has been my Florida State 9/11. Except the second tower wasn't hit
What
until
I could name 5 things way worse than this that has happened since we've been Florida State fans.
you can name 5 things that are worse.
Than this, yeah, easily.
Give me them.
All right, Willie Taggart era, all of it. Losing to Jacksonville State.
Okay, that's more of like our World War. That isn't like our 9/11. You know what I mean? Like there's
I think 9/11 was worse
you think
For Americans.
for Americans? Fair. I'd
Then
say
World War II.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's pretty bold.
Yeah, I might take that back.
Yeah. Like
I might take that
I mean,
back.
I'm not gonna come out on the pod and say like 9/11 wasn't even the worst American tragedy. Like we're not going there. I'm just saying in relevancy to the other bad shit.
Go back to the sports, please. Please go back to the sports.
Yeah, we're talking about relevancy here.
Please
Like
go back to the sports.
regardless, pretty bad. So Matt,
All the comments under the Florida State thing are like, all right, now do Michigan.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really done much research on what this whole punishment is for you guys, but
Just like
I think you guys have
behind the
just been,
scenes, and the assistant coach can't be there for 3 games.
yeah, but I just think you guys have been just continuously being punished pretty much from December to now. And it's probably going to get a lot worse for you guys. And you're going to be punished, next November for sure against the Gators in your own stadium. It's really going to suck too.
Billy Napier.
Yeah, Billy Napier turning it around. Norvell was really shitty his first year or two, right? Or is it just
I don't know if he was Billy Napier bad.
No, first year when we lost to Jacksonville State.
No,
yeah, you guys lost
yeah,
to
but
Jacksonville. I mean,
Billy
Mike
Napier's
Norvell
what,
lost to
second or third year?
Jacksonville State.
Second or
in
third
their
year.
own
Second or
home.
third year. Second or third year. For
Billy,
Napier.
this
Yeah.
is his third year. So
Going into or this was his third year?
no, this is going into his third year.
Okay, so going into our third year, we went what 10-3.
I'm pretty sure this is his third year
We went 10-3 in our
for
third year.
Norvell. I
No,
think this is his third year.
No.
This is his fourth year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then we're on track because Norvell was ass first 2 years.
Yeah. And then we got 10 wins and then went undefeated.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying this is Billy Napier's make or break year.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit before the pod about make or break situations. And I did say a metaphor before the pod that I feel like doesn't fit as well now. But now that I've really thought about it, I think this metaphor fits a lot better. I think Matt's relationship with Billy Napier is like the girlfriend that just really sucks, but she's in either a law school or a nursing program. So she's gonna bring home bread. So like the future aspect of it, you're like, all right, but like if I'm breaded up, I'll be all right. Like
all right. The end goal's there. I see the vision.
She's getting the BBL.
I see the vision.
Soon.
But what I'm getting right now is like blue balls and misery.
Yeah. It's you know what? This is where true fans stick to their team. I'm a diehard. I will never leave the Gators side, no matter if Billy Napier sucks next year. I'll be rooting and be totally biased to any pick, like I was with the Georgia Bulldogs this year. I will have blind faith in my Gators because that's what I think I was grown up with. So,
all right, guys, let's get on to our NFL talk now. We got our NFL playoffs going on, but before we go to our NFL playoffs, there's 3 big coaching things we need to discuss before we dive in. First of all, one of the wildest, most what the hell happened. By the way, this beginning of 2024 has been what we're not even 2 weeks in, and it's already been the wildest beginning of a year I can recall. Mike Vrabel gets fired, and I'm gonna be honest. If you would have asked me, I would have put him as like top 5 most job secured head coaches, low key, or like close. I don't think you can blame him. I don't think he's the reason they're bad. It's not his fault. He's never had a good quarterback. I don't know if it's their GM or what do you call like the system, like the fucking management? Do you call it
Mm.
management? Isn't good. I don't think it's
Front
his.
office.
And,
Yeah.
and the other thing, because I know Zach's about to go off. The other thing I'm going to say is when a coach gets fired, and then you go and look at the players, or you look at other players, and they're all heartbroken. It's really hard to be like it was the coach's fault. You see guys get fired, and then people are like, "Yeah, we're going to find a new replacement." No, everyone's like, "What the hell happened?"
I look, the way I look at it is there was never a question of whether or not Mike Vrabel was a good players coach. Like everyone that's ever played for him, I have yet to hear any bad things about him. Like everyone loves playing for him. The biggest problem I had with Mike Vrabel is yes, he was good when he first got there because same thing with the kind of Alec Pierce situation over in Vegas. When you're a former player, you're able to instill that camaraderie factor when you first join. So you can take a lot of talented players to buy into one thing and kind of like if you were kind of the Raiders situation, if you were heading towards shithole and he steps in, he can kind of get them to come together to win a couple games. Problem is, once you give him a couple years out of that, you like Mike Vrabel showed, there was no like improvement. It was a steady decline. I just feel like they got caught in like football purgatory, as I'd like to call it. What happened was you're able to get guys like Derrick Henry on your team who are so remarkably good at their job that they are going to win you football games on their back. The problem is, even if you do make the playoffs, you're not such a well-rounded team that you're able to win games. And the biggest issue with that is, unless you make some insane trades or off-season acquisitions, your draft stock is not going to be good enough to bring home talent. Even though it is first-round talent, you're not taking
You're in the middle every year.
you're in the middle. You're in the middle of the pack every year, and you're not able to find the diamond in the rough. And it's not to say that their front office necessarily made the wrong decisions. I mean, look, they tried to make Mount. They drafted Malik Willis as kind of like a risk it kind of guy because hey, there wasn't many of that quarterbacks that had fallen in the draft, so they decided, hey, we'll go with this guy. He's extremely athletic. Let's see what we can get out of him. That project didn't work out. You saw Will Levis come into the picture this year, and hey, he's played pretty decently. The problem is the team overall showed a lot of flaws, and you don't really know what you're gonna get out of him. So at this point, with all the moves that they've made,
Got D
acquisition,
Hop too. I don't know if you said that. I blanked out.
who?
I got D Hop also.
Yeah. So with all these acquisitions, they just still weren't able to make a push for like a playoff run. And unfortunately, like this is the NFL, business is business. And despite how much he was loved by the city, if you're not bringing in wins, you're probably not putting fans in seats at the end of the day. No discredit to the loyalty that the Tennessee Titan fan base have. I know you guys get rowdy up there, but if you want to be a winning franchise, you got to have a winning coach, and he wasn't necessarily coaching you to any wins, in my opinion. So that's kind of how I viewed his firing.
Could you see him going to college or no?
I still think he has a good opportunity to maintain a position in the NFL. I don't know what coordinating jobs are going to be opening
I
up.
I think he could recruit really fucking well.
Vrabel?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that would be a crazy Bama hiring.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I didn't say Bama. I just meant college in general. I don't know if he could go to Bama.
Slow down, brother.
Yeah,
Slow.
you can't. Yeah, I just. I mean,
Who knows?
yes, you have to be a good coach to be a good coach in college football. That's how that works.
Yes.
Wasn't Saban in the
You have to
NFL
be.
Should
before?
be a good coach. I
No,
agree.
yes, but you have to be great at recruiting as well. That's a huge factor. And I feel like Zach nailed it on the head. He's a great players coach. I could see him recruiting good recruiting classes.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is it is a difficult transition. Like, I just don't think some coaches would mesh very well in college, whether it be game planning, recruiting. Like, there's a lot of different factors. Like, the NFL is obviously a lot more talented, but I do think the NCAA has its own difficulties in order to build a team. There's different team building aspects. In the NFL, you get to draft people. It's kind of a fair fight. In college,
Yeah, it's up for grabs.
it's up for grabs, baby. It's what those kids want first and foremost. Like
Do
you
it for
made
the kids.
yeah, it's more so an entity. You're trying to represent an entity in order to bring kids in. In the NFL, you get to pick and choose your
To an
fruits
extent. To an extent.
to an extent. Yeah, to an extent for the most part. But hey, man, it's hard. Although I will say, never heard of a guy failing as a college football coach and then being successful as an NFL one. Have heard of guys that have failed in the NFL and been successful in college. So there is still a chance. Nick Saban proved that. Mans was all right on the Browns, not so good for the Dolphins, and then found his rightful place in college football, leading the Crimson Tide.
And LSU.
Yes.
The
Into
more I
other
think about it, the more I think Vrabel could be good as a coach for
I think he could be a really good college coach. I don't know if he could go to Alabama.
Yeah.
Could.
Alabama's not going to hire a guy that has no college football experience. They're not just going to send that.
I mean, they did with Saban.
They did with Saban, but he
Yeah, but
won
they
with
weren't
LSU.
okay.
He won with
Yes, they did
LSU.
with Saban, but they weren't here when they hired Saban. They were solid. They were like a bowl. They were going to bowl games. They weren't the dynasty.
We'll see. Into one of our
That
other
just counteracted the shit out of himself right there.
what?
Yeah, Vrabel can't go there. And he's like, we'll see. Like,
Yeah. Hey,
I think he could.
look, I'm saying, is it unlikely? Hella unlikely. Not
not
impossible.
impossible though.
More likely than Billy Napier, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Hey, I'm with that. I'm
And
with
what
that.
about Jim McElwain though?
He's out fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, did you see that meme I sent you the other day?
Yeah.
All right. For
I think keep going. I'm tired.
we've had some other coaching changes in the NFL, including Mr. Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was let go by the Seattle Seahawks. Look, this is one of those things where I don't really know where it goes for him. Actually, wait, didn't Pete Carroll what was his career like at USC as a coach?
He won a natty.
He won a natty, right?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yes, him and Harbaugh, the only two coaches to ever play in a
Yeah,
natty.
right. Yeah, I do remember seeing that. Yeah. So, anyway, Pete Carroll and Seattle Seahawks, that relationship is no more. Look, Pete Carroll's old as hell, man.
Yeah, he's 73, right?
That dude is old, kicking it, still athletic, still sprinting on the field, catching
Yeah, he's
passes,
running routes.
Could he take a hit from Prime Ray Lewis? No. Could he do it for $1? No. Regardless, he does have a history there. What I hate more than anything, and I don't know why I keep falling for this trap, but anytime a social media post, specifically Instagram, is put up about anyone retiring, the top comment will always just be the most negative thing about their coaching resume. Like the first thing I saw under Pete Carroll's retirement post was someone saying, yeah, now he has plenty of time to think about why he passed the ball. And like, why does his career boil down to that?
You know what's funny, Zach? You know what's funny on that? If that play would have worked, they would have called him a fucking genius.
Yeah.
If that play would have worked, they'd be like, Pete Carroll's a genius. They knew the run was coming.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he happened to be playing against the smartest man to ever coach in football.
Which is a great segue for you.
Great segue.
Great segue, but I do want to give y'all some words if you'd like on the Pete Carroll departure.
Yeah, sorry, I got to blow my nose again.
Matt, any words on Pete Carroll?
Yeah, I mean, to touch on what Grayson said, I don't think he should be thought of as the one who just didn't pass it. He won a Super Bowl, went to 2 others, right? Very good coach. Scary team in the Seahawks every year, just because of him. And hope he has a great retirement.
Yeah. I don't know if he's like stated he's retired, or wait, was it retired or fired? Maybe he did retire.
Yeah, I think they parted ways.
No, I thought Bill Belichick parted ways. Hold on. Let me make sure we're not just being stupid.
Well, since Zach already got it going right there, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots parted ways. It's like one of those things where it's like super like wow, but also like I kind of get it.
Yeah. Look,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't have much to say on it. I'll let Zach kind of go. Belichick was a legend. Definitely needed Brady, as we saw. But that's not shots at Belichick by any means. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like he found the fucking gem, and that's good. That's skill.
yes.
Yeah, and I also think that's one thing I do like a lot. One thing I don't like about Bill Belichick is how he's so fucking vanilla and he's like kind of an asshole. The thing I like about Bill Belichick is how he doesn't write off anybody. He gives everybody a chance, and you see that by him like always drafting and keeping his eye out on these smaller school guys. I mean, there's that one pictures of him at like some like what D2 guys and D linemen's.
It was like
He was like a D2 All-American D lineman who didn't get pro
Eastern, it was
day.
like Eastern Tennessee Tech, and he was out
Yeah.
there in the rain doing
And he
like
didn't. His school didn't give him a pro day, so Belichick just flew out and stood in the rain and watched this kid work out.
yeah.
That's pretty
Um,
awesome.
I feel like him and Saban are the same in the aspect that they are football perfectionists. Like they are so keen to every little detail on the football field. That's why I feel like they're so respected within the game. Like, regardless of how people may have viewed them in the sense of like just being kind of like rough around the edges or like kind of assholes per se, I've never really seen that many players come out and speak against either of these coaches openly. Like everyone's usually been very supportive of what both of the coaches have done for their not only playing careers, but in their personal lives. So I think that should be stated prior to any accolade they've ever earned on the football field. These are great leader of men, not just great football coaches. Um, Look, I understand the move from Bill Belichick. Since the departure of Tom Brady, you were left in a very questionable state. You know, when you let go of the GOAT, there's obviously going to be a lot of question marks. And unfortunately, the team hasn't really panned out to what you expected it to be since his departure. I believe in my mind, Robert Kraft had a Bill and Bill Belichick had an agreement in place on what their expectations were year in and year out. Come to think of it, last year, Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler and you were a playoff team before getting stomped out by the Buffalo Bills. So your expectation going into this year was improvement. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. We had a very, very down year, one of the worst I've ever been a part of, as in my living experience, at least. But this is the natural laws of football. You will be good and you will be bad. And I'm ready to embrace the very bad that is yet to come. Because the odds that we just end up hiring another goated head coach, slim to none, if not never. So I'll embrace the suck for a while. From what I've heard, apparently Draw Mayo is in the running for the head coaching availability. I believe he is the linebackers or defensive coach for the Patriots this past season. And the defense was good, and I would have no problem turning it over to a guy who's already been in the system, excuse me, and can kind of lead the Patriot way that we've been carrying. But I am ready to embrace a new era of football in New England. I think it is time that we shift gears for the future. As for Bill Belichick, let me just say this. I think he still has one more chance to prove the naysayers wrong about needing Brady as much. Because I still think he's the GOAT coach with or without Brady. Would he have had as many Super Bowls? Probably not, but still the GOAT coach, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you
And
could
I
flip
believe
that script too. Brady wouldn't have as many Super Bowls without Belichick. They were dependent on each other.
100%.
Yeah.
Peanut butter
And
and jelly. You don't eat a jelly sandwich.
yeah,
You do eat a peanut butter sandwich. That's why Brady won another Super Bowl with the Bucks.
indeed. But I do think there are a lot of teams right now in the NFL that have Bill Belichick. Not a lot, but
You
there
eat
are teams.
sandwiches with just peanut butter?
I knew you were going to get caught up on that. I knew that was going to stump
Are
you.
you
Dude, you
serious?
could definitely eat a
I
peanut
don't
butter.
do that, dude. That's weird.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I used to only eat jelly sandwiches. Like it would just be.
No, no.
We're
I used.
clipping that.
No,
We're clipping that.
no,
I'm sorry.
no,
I'm sorry. It had to.
dude.
I had to come clean about this. These are my sins. These are
All right,
my.
but now that you say that, you look like a guy who eats
Yeah.
jelly sandwiches.
By the way, if anyone would have known that in middle school or high school, that could have been the immediate end roast session right there. Be like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
kid eats jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
How do you eat just jelly in between two breads?
Dude,
Oh,
SpongeBob, bro. You a SpongeBob ass
you
boy.
have to at least have toasted it, bro.
SpongeBob ass boy Zach over here.
dude, I used to remember
Jellyfish jelly.
there'd just be sometimes where I'm like, dude, I don't want the like texture and like consistency and the like thickness of peanut butter. I was like, I just want the sweetness of jelly. Cause
Yeah,
like
you
what I
put like a little bit of peanut butter just to make it a sandwich.
yeah, no, I just put
That's not a sandwich. That's just two pieces of bread with gel. That's not a sandwich.
yeah, indeed. Holy shit, this has gone so far
All right,
off.
let's get to these playoff matchups because I'm getting tired.
Yeah. One thing I will say before we switch up though is I think if Bill Belichick goes to the Chargers, that's immediately a playoff team without question in my
Yeah, I
mind.
like that too. I like that too. I like that too, especially with Herbert.
Yes. Yes. I feel like he could immediately because dude, the Chargers are talented as hell.
Dude, they're one of the most. They are one of the most talented rosters from
And they
from
just
bottom to top in the whole NFL, and they're terrible.
Brandon Staley should have been on
It's
the X.
terrible.
Can y'all stop asking me questions about who's calling the plays? Sir, you're the coach. Their job is to literally ask you questions.
Yeah.
That is their job.
Oh, Brandon Staley, I wouldn't trust you to coach a college football team, brother. Let alone if my son does play football one day, it won't be for your Pee Wee football team.
Hey, we can make fun of him as much as we want, but that boy got paid.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yep.
All right, let's do this real quick. Our first round of the NFL playoffs. Our first game, Saturday, 4:30 on NBC. Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. Cleveland coming in at a -2. Give me your picks, boys.
Me first? All
I
right.
don't care.
I will do I'll do Cleveland. I think it's set up for Cleveland going to Baltimore and Joe Flacco playing the Ravens. I think that's going to happen. I think Houston is a great team, great playoff team, but they are a bunch of rookies, but bunch of new guys. Even the coach is new into the playoffs. I think they're just gonna it's gonna be a great game, and I think the Browns are gonna win.
I'm also going to take the Browns. I think that the NFL writes their scripts and they want to see Joe Flacco play the Ravens. I also think I'm going to piggyback on what Matt said. The veteranism is going to help them carry the way. But I got to give a huge shout out to CJ Stroud because not yet, but as of right now, he might have broken the Ohio State quarterback curse. But I'm still going to take Cleveland Browns.
I will say this: CJ Stroud did break the Ohio State quarterback curse. I don't need any more time.
It's got to be more than 1 year, Zach. It's got to be more than 1 year.
I don't care. You put any of the Ohio State quarterbacks that ever got drafted and put them in his shoes for this season, they would have gotten ran through.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, they would have gotten ran through. No questions asked. But regardless, look, the Texans are one of the feel-good stories of the year where you are so happy that they made the playoffs and beat all that adversity. And with first-year coach DeMarco Ryan and everything that's been happening with CJ Stroud and their injuries, it just feels good that they've made it. But the playoffs are the playoffs, and this is just one of those times where they're probably going to get bullied, if we're being honest. Look, the Browns are a super talented roster. Just one of their biggest issues year in and year out is will they have a consistent quarterback? The Browns have never been able to have a quarterback in forever. But as we said, who doesn't love a good storyline? Joe Flacco came off the couch at 39 years old. The dude is falling asleep on benches as he throws for 400 yards against teams in the NFL, by the way. But like I said, the dude literally played in his prime against Ed Reed, at practice, Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, and then played against guys like James Harrison and Philip Palomalu. So these safeties are sweet to him.
I also think I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zach. We talked about it last pod too. It's like it's almost that he's so simplistic about it. He doesn't overthink things.
Yeah,
that comes with experience.
Yeah,
completely. And that's helped him with the edge in the playoffs.
Yeah, what I love that someone said is Joe Flacco still has that old era QB in him where, like, if shit's falling down, he doesn't throw it away. He's like, fuck it, someone's down there.
Yeah.
Like, he throws it up to Amari more than anyone I've ever seen. He does not care.
I watched the whole TikTok highlight, and it was just fucking Amari down there, and it's just Joe Flacco slinging it, and he's in like triple coverage, catching the ball every play.
Yeah,
he also loves Njoku.
Yes, he loves Njoku, and honestly, I love seeing it. I love what the Browns are doing. The Browns look like they're not going to Brown, but it would be the most Brown thing to get there and then just lose to a depleted Texans roster. So
they'd be like super Browns if they went up like 24-7 at halftime and then lost.
Yes, it would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. But that's what makes Wild Card Weekend so great. So for this game, though, I am going to take the Browns and to cover. I just don't see the Texans getting it done.
Our next game is Saturday, 8 o'clock, between the Miami Dolphins traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs coming in at a -5 favorite. What do we think, boys?
Well, look, we all know the story about the weather for this game. I believe it is going to be one of the coldest games of all time. -30-degree wind chill. I believe it's supposed to be 5 degrees below zero. This is not going to be a fun playing environment, especially for a team that has spent a ton of time down in Miami, Florida.
It says game time weather will be 1 degree.
Yeah. So yeah.
1 degree.
Just one.
Yeah, just one.
It's like I can give you one. I can give
you give me one more day. Just one more day.
Oh my God. Regardless though, look, these are not the powerhouses we once sought them out to be at the beginning of the season. As the season's gone on, I think we've seen a Dolphins roster that has had some struggles on offense. compared to what they were earlier in the season, where they were just kind of a juggernaut and Tyreek Hill was on pace for 2,000 yards. However, I'm just not seeing that as of late. They seem to be getting outmatched in nearly every game they play. Given their defense has taken some major hits, Bradley Chubb out for the year. I forget some of their other key injuries, but regardless, they're hurt. As for the Chiefs side of things, you just don't have the weapons. You aren't letting Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes when you have receivers like Kadarius Toney. And honestly, their only real baller is Rashee Rice right now, because as I'm looking over at Travis Kelce, who's too busy drowning in some T Swift, it just ain't working out. And I really don't have the most faith in them. However, what is going to lead me to taking the Chiefs over the Dolphins in this game is this game is in Chiefs territory, and Andy Reid does have playoff experience. He knows what he's doing. So I am going to trust him to get the job done in this game.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs as well. They're one of those teams. How do I describe them? I'm gonna call it Tom Brady-esque, but not in the way of. Let me explain. They're one of those teams. As long as they make it to the show, they're gonna play well. It doesn't matter if they had an all right season or not. There's someone that's like when the lights turn on, they show up. And there's a lot of there's athletes that are like that. There's sports teams that are like that. They just have a feel. And yeah, they went 11-6. It's not the best season they've had in a while. Um, but it doesn't matter when the lights turn on and then they get their back against the wall and it's one game in, one game out. They just find a way to win every time. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm really not big on the Dolphins at all. And I kind of was in the beginning, and now I'm not. They uh, they just seem to just beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they never get any like crazy like. It seems like they don't beat any like juggernauts. I think Tua's good. I don't know. I just there's just something about that Miami Dolphins team that it doesn't seem real to me. I don't know. It just seems like a little like fairy tale-ish. I can't put my finger on it, but either way, I think that it's a legitimate home field advantage with this weather. I think Kansas City covers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
I did
It's
know.
I think there's a lot of speed on that team. And if Jalen Waddle plays, which I am making my pick if Jalen Waddle plays,
No, that's not how that works, brother.
You make your pick now.
I make my pick. No, I'm saying I'm
No,
thinking he's
it
gonna
can't
play.
be if Jalen Watt. No, no. What is
All
your
right,
pick?
Dolphins are gonna win.
All right,
Fair enough.
that's it. Short and sweet.
No, they're really fast. You have a lot of really fast players on the team. I mean, you have four of the fastest players in the NFL, in Waddle, Hill, A Chain, and Mozart. I think I don't know. I just think the Dolphins are hungry, and I think the weather is gonna play a factor in it for sure. Kansas City may have the edge in that, but something just feels weird about this Chiefs team this year. And I think like a super they're kind of like getting off the Super Bowl high, and Travis Kelce is their best player, and he's looked terrible. He's looked like if you put two guys on him, he can't make any room.
Yeah.
And he's looking a little slow too. I think he's getting a little old.
You think if you were out there, it'd be different?
Yes.
I think if I was out there, I could give you a good 15 minutes. I could give you a whole quarter.
All right, I'm gonna give you a legitimate. Before we go on to the next four games, I'm gonna give you an actual hypothetical, and I want your real answer. If
All
you
right.
played a whole season as a tight end in the NFL, do you think you could get 5 catches?
Uh yeah.
Could he get injured? Wait. Is injury a possibility, or does he just somehow
No,
always?
no, he's always healthy.
Okay.
But it has to be at least a yard. You have to get positive yards per catch, even if
I
it's
just
only one
think
yard.
I think there could be so many trick plays that could get me five
I
catches.
think you would get blown the fuck up by a middle linebacker and drop the ball.
No, he could definitely run some like
I could catch it
delayed
and then
tight
I'd
end.
fumble it.
Yeah, a delayed tight
Not a
end.
catch.
No, if he records the catch and then fumbles, it's
That's
still
a
a catch
catch.
for positive yards.
I don't think Matt can get 5 catches in an NFL season.
I think coaches could devise 5 garbage time play
Come
action
on.
delayed
I
tight
could
ends.
catch it 5 times. Look, give me a little out route to the
You're
edge of the
dying. You're
sideline.
dying. It has to be a sprint.
Yeah.
You're not running a route. You're
Give me
not.
one on one. Give me one on one with Jesse Bates. I'm gonna do a little dink dink like that, and then I'm gonna do a little
Yo, all you gotta do is run a stop and go route on Trayvon Diggs. He bites every time.
Yeah.
Good. Except I truly believe
He said Matt's gonna run and he's gonna go, and you're not gonna move.
I believe Trayvon Diggs could bite on the double move and still make up for
He'll
it.
catch up to Matt.
No,
Still make up for it on the back
I'd
end.
have to have a lot of screens, a lot of picks.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. A lot of pick, a
but
lot of.
They would have to legitimately make the offensive plays for you.
look,
Yeah.
I have 18 games to get 5 catches.
I believe it could be done. Now, if injuries were involved,
There's guys that play in the NFL that
If
don't.
injuries were involved, I'm not lasting a game.
yeah, but like,
obviously.
but to be fair, Grayson, like, they're not like if everyone on the team was like, "Yo, we got to get Matt 5 catches," then yeah,
Yeah, or he
No,
dies.
but
Matt
I'm saying
dies.
no. But I'm saying it's not like that. He's just put into a roster.
if he's just put on the roster, he's not seeing the field. Like they're not even going to put him in the game.
Oh, no, but
Yeah,
he's
what do you
starting. But he's
mean?
starting.
So
Oh,
you have to force start him.
He had to force start
yeah.
him. Everyone else got hurt. He's stuck there.
Somehow I got there. Somehow I'm
He
on the
has
field,
pictures of the head coach doing something bad.
and I'm invincible.
Yeah, they put him in. And there's no, oh, we're doing this for Matt. No. It's just regular ran offense that Matt's in.
And it's just regular Matt, like Matt right now.
I think you're more screwed on a run block because you're going to go to block a linebacker and he's going to just shove you into the ground.
Yeah, but he won't.
Yeah, but at least I'll
No,
get up and be
they'll
healthy.
definitely just motion him out to the slot every time. They'll just be
Yeah,
like,
Matt, get out there. Go, get away.
No, this is like flea flicker type of like Hail Mary. I'll just sit in the middle of the field when everybody's in the Hail Mary, and I'll be like, "Yo, this is it, my 5th catch right here."
You're down by 60 points. You get
Yeah, everybody's in the end zone. I'm in like the 50-yard line.
"Oh my god."
All right,
Regardless, Grayson, what's our next game?
Our next game, opening up our Sunday, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Buffalo Bills. This game at 1 o'clock on CBS. Buffalo Bills coming in at a -10. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking TJ Watt is hurt and the Buffalo Bills are going to ransack the Steelers. Look, I have no problems with the Steelers. I just believe that they are way too happy to be content with just getting winning seasons with the very look, they do have a Super Bowl in what the last 12, 13 years. I don't know. It's been a while.
We were in 5th grade when they won their last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we were 10, so 14 years.
Yeah. So regardless, no winning season, sure, not great playoff success. Your best player in TJ Watt's out. And although the Bills do have a long history of playing down to their opponent's competition level, I do think the Bills need to set themselves apart right now if they want to prove to everyone else that they are a Super Bowl contending team. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to absolutely violate the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it won't be particularly great to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet before Matt goes. I'm just gonna take the Bills are gonna kill him. And
yeah,
it's
I think
the Bills Mafia is gonna go nuts.
the Steelers don't score any more than 10 points. I'm even saying they don't even score 10 points.
It would be a little Josh Allen of him though to play bad and keep it a close game.
Yeah, to throw like 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, and then it's like 21-14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. What's our next game?
Our next game, 4:30 on Fox. The Green Bay Packers traveling to the Dallas Cowboys to face their old head coach in Mike McCarthy. This game, Cowboys coming in at a -7.
And let me tell you something. Packers ain't never lost to AT&T Stadium.
Is that true?
I don't believe they've ever lost to AT&T Stadium.
Damn.
That's crazy.
So you rocking with you go Pack go?
Brother, I've seen so many times that the Packers get matched up with the Cowboys and the Cowboys are supposed to win every time and they never do.
So you're go Pack go.
I'm go Pack go, man.
Matt.
Something about Jordan Love, man.
I'm going
Jordan Love, listen, sorry, real go before you go, Matt. He has turned around hella at the end of the season. Hella.
Dude, the Packers and drafting franchise quarterbacks needs to be studied. Needs to be
So
studied.
I think it's funnier how he does everything like Aaron Rodgers. Have you seen like the video breakdowns of him?
Yeah.
He just walks
He literally
the
is
same
Aaron
way.
Rodgers.
He does the handoffs the same. He does everything the exact same.
I mean, yeah, if they told me to
literally
follow
him.
the guy for years, and they were like, "Yeah, this guy's a lot better than you," I think I'd copy some mannerisms
Yeah,
too.
no, I would too. Yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me Packers.
I'm going with the Cowboys. I think they're really good at home. I think they're a really good team this year. They could win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But here's what the Cowboys are going to do. They're going to beat the Packers. The Packers are young, at least in their quarterback and their wide receivers. And Cowboys are going to win, and then they're going to lose to the 49ers in the NFC Championship. It's just written already. It's written.
Wait, what does the seeding look like right now for the NFL playoffs? Because the NFL playoffs are weird where it's not set in stone. You end up playing highest or lowest seed.
Could end up playing, but I just know that the Cowboys are going to win this game. Everyone's going to get their hopes up, and then they'll lose again.
All right, so the Cowboys are 2, the Green Bay 7, and San Francisco's 1.
Okay, so Dallas won't play 49ers in the next round if they win anyway.
Yeah, Dallas would play the winner of the Bucks and they'd either play Eagles or the winner or the Rams.
Yeah, if the Eagles or Rams.
If the Eagles and Rams win, they play the Rams. No, they play the Eagles. They play the Eagles because the Rams would play 49ers.
Yes. Okay, you're right.
But what if
they're
the
playing
Bucks
the winner of the Eagles and the Bucks, or they're playing the winner of the Rams and Detroit?
San Fran's getting the lowest seed. Fran's getting the
So
lowest
if Green Bay wins, they're automatically playing San Francisco.
Yeah.
But if the Cowboys win, they're going to either play the Eagles or the Rams.
Yeah. So, hey,
I'm going to go with the Cowboys, or excuse me, I'm going to go with the Packers just because I don't like the Cowboys, and I think they're overrated all the time, and they're America's team, which is true. So there's like a huge media bias to them, and they suck not overtime, in the postseason every single year I've been alive that I can recall. So I'm going to take Green Bay, and I don't even really like Green Bay, but I'm going to do that. Our last game on Sunday. This is a weird game. We have the Los Angeles Rams traveling to the Detroit.
This is not our last game. Oh, just
Sunday,
last game on Sunday.
On Sunday. Thank you for listening to my full sentence. The last game on Sunday is our 8 p.m. on NBC. We have the Los Angeles Rams traveling to the Detroit Lions. Yes, that is how I said that. It's not at the Rams, it's in the Lions. Super weird. Never in my life did I think I'd be saying that. And Matthew Stafford coming back home to play the Lions. Detroit's -3. What are we thinking?
This is a crap game, dude. I think this is going to be scary.
This might be the closest game of round one.
Yeah. This is going to be crazy because Cooper Kupp and Puka are real deal. Like, they're no joke at all. And Kyron Williams is no joke as well. Like, the Rams are going to score points. They have to match up with the Lions. The Lions offense is ridiculous. You have a good coach in Sean McVay. You have a great coach in oh my God. What's his name?
Are you shitting me right now?
Dude, I'm blanking so
Don't
hard.
give it to him, Zach.
Dan Campbell.
All right.
Sorry. Dan Campbell, great coach. So good I couldn't even remember his name.
By the way, it's Sean McVay. There's no H.
Oh, sorry. Sean, yeah. But I don't know. I'm rooting. If the Bucks don't win, I'm rooting for the Lions. I want them to win. I'm gonna pick them to win. I think they are really good. Did I just cut out again?
No, the
Sean McVay thing.
Yeah, the scene thing just caught me so off guard. I was not ready for that.
It's the scene.
Oh my God. Look, I'm just gonna give my take on it. You have the ultimate storyline going into this game. And like I said, I love storylines. You have one quarterback who was set free by his team because after years of doing all that he could and just wasn't enough to get them anywhere, ends up leaving for another team to pursue his goals. And you have another quarterback who was,
and then he wins the Super Bowl.
And you have another quarterback
who left that team,
who was not
who left the Rams,
who didn't leave, cast it out.
They got rid of him.
They got rid of him. They threw him to the wolves. They said, "We're done with you." Like Andy in Toy Story.
Yeah, yes, Matt. He did still leave. Good job.
Yeah, he did.
That gives me a lot of like, I wasn't fired, I quit.
Yeah.
Regardless, wow.
I wasn't fired, I was let go.
Yeah. What more could you ask for? I agree with Grayson's sentiment where he was like, we never thought we'd say this about the Detroit Lions hosting a playoff game. But then again, they had never even won their division ever. They've never hosted a home playoff game. I don't believe, unless I'm tripping. But I don't believe they've ever hosted, to my knowledge. So with that being said, there's a lot of pressure on the Detroit Lions to win this game. Now, look, I do think they have the upper hand in this. I think what helps the Rams a lot is Kyron Williams is such a dog, and their run scheme is able to open up a lot of plays in the play action game for the Rams. The only problem is you are dealing with Detroit, who is one of the best run stopping teams in all of football right now. They know how to shut down the run. They can force you to pass. And if you do pass, Aiden Hutchinson is going to get to you, and it's not going to be pretty. So the way I kind of look at this game is Sean McVay going to be able to scheme up something in order to put enough points on the board to kind of compete with the Lions? And are the Lions going to shit their pants on national television after years and years of failure, only to come up short once again? In my opinion, I think this is a year where they get a playoff win. I do think since they're at home, it does give them the edge. I feel like they have all the weapons and capabilities to get the job done. So I am going to go with the Detroit Lions to win this game.
Matt just disrespected the fucking big cojones Dan Campbell by not knowing his name.
Look, give
Don't
me a break.
care.
I was thinking Mike Vrabel the whole time.
I don't care if the freaking 300 army of Sparta was lining up on the field to fight the Lions. I'm riding with Dan Campbell into war every single time. Every single time. There is not, I'm pretty sure last year we named him Football Guy of the Year on Clocks. There is not a guy that breathes football more than that guy. That guy wakes up and he's like, he probably wakes up and he lights 2 candles before brushing his teeth, and they're football scented candles. Like they smell like a football. And he's just like, oh man, I'm ready to go coach some football today. Jared Goff, tiny hands, still slings it. Still slings it. He has a hot wife. How do you not root for this team? You know, and their team is built of people that were written off, and they keep thriving and they keep excelling. I'm all in on the Lions, dude. First of all, yes, I do think they're gonna win. I think it being at home, I think they have a lot. I think one reason why I don't enjoy the NFL as much as I enjoy college is the lack of heart and the lack of pride in the game, because it's now a job. You're a little older, there's a lot of things like that. The Lions are one of the very few teams left in the NFL that plays with so much heart, dude. Week in and week out, they love each other. They love being there. That culture, Dan Campbell turned it around. He turned it around. They were garbage, garbage, and now they're hosting a playoff game. He turned it around. I'm all in, dude. I want the Lions to win it all. I am all in on the Lions. I love Dan Campbell. I've never been to Detroit. It probably sucks, but that's just another reason for me to like them more. It's just like everything is against them. You know, Eminem's from there. Give me the Lions. Kid Rock,
8 Mile.
8 Mile. Give me the Lions. Our last game, Zach. Monday Night Football. We have the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the great city of Tampa, Florida. Play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 8:15 on ABC, ESPN, or ESPN Plus, depending on your provider. Eagles -3. Matt, how about you start us off this one?
Oh man, I want the Bucks to win so bad. It's just, what Baker Mayfield are we gonna get? We've seen Baker Mayfield tear up the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field and then do dog shit at home against the Saints. So it's like, who are we gonna get? I'm gonna go with the Bucks because it's gonna be rainy and Jalen Hurts doesn't play well in the rain, statistically proven. And our defense is so good that I would put us up against any other defense in the league. And I think defense wins games, defense wins championships. And I think we're going to win at home. The Eagles are going to go to the Dallas Cowboys. That's it.
Look, this is what I will say about this situation. I would love for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. Do I think it is a possibility? Yes. I've seen how poorly the Eagles have played. I believe they are 1-4 in their last 5 games. They have not been playing good football.
They went on an 0-3 streak, didn't they?
Yeah, so they just have not been playing good football. They haven't been able to congel as well as you would like to see a playoff team do, especially with how their success was early in the season. I mean, starting off what 9-1, 10-1, something ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
And the fact that they kind of fallen apart like this is very sad to see, considering how much of a Jalen Hurts fan I am. I could care less about the city of Philadelphia. I really don't care, but I will root for Jalen Hurts. But if there's one thing I know more than anything, it is that Baker performs best when there is no expectations. The moment you start believing in Baker or thinking that he will achieve something or that it's written in stone, it ends up coming back to hurt you. Now, I do think he's played these last 2 games sort of injured. I have seen a change in his play style, and it's not really what I was seeing against, per se, the Green Bay game. So maybe with the additional time and time off, he's had some time to heal up and get back to play his best game of football. But the Eagles have already played the Bucs this year in Tampa, and we saw how that went. Now, I understand this is playoff football. This is a completely different environment from the regular season, but the Eagles know what they're getting out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was a pretty decent played game by the Bucs. Wasn't their best game, but I know what the Eagles are capable of, and I just feel like it's just the biggest setup to break Bucs fans' hearts because going into the season, you never had the expectation of possibly winning 10 games. That was never a question mark. And if they didn't shit the bed against the Saints, they would have 10 wins this season. But to go 9-8 and win the division back to back to back years and put yourself in a home playoff game again after Tom Brady retired, that's pretty remarkable. That's something that you certainly didn't expect, or at least I didn't expect. So the fact that they even got here is great. However, I am going to put them in the same tier as kind of the Texans where, hey, glad you could make it. Unfortunately, you will get buried. I do think the game is going to be competitive as hell. I think the Bucs have some dogs on both sides of the football. I think Antoine Winfield has some serious, serious shots, or shots isn't what I'm looking for, but serious contention for being one of the guys named for the Defensive Player of the Year award with his stats this year. I think he's played that well. Do I think he's going to win it? No. But I just don't see the Bucs getting it done, man. I really can't. Because if I do believe that they can get it done, it's just going to hurt. Like it's just going to hurt my feelings. So I'd rather not. I'd rather not.
The way I look at this game is I think it's going to be the exact same way as the creamsicle game was against the Lions. It's going to be like kind of sort of close, but the play of game is going to be like an ass whooping. Like if you saw the final score of the Lions Bucks game, it was like that was a close game. I sat there through the whole thing. We got destroyed.
You never felt like you had a chance.
Yeah, it was never. It felt like we were trying to come back the whole time, and that's how I see this game going. As a betting man, I see way more ways the Eagles win than the Bucks do. The only way I see the Bucks winning is playing the best game. Everything has to go well. The Eagles can have a bunch of hiccups and still win this game. Um, I just don't. I think making the playoffs was the Bucks Super Bowl. I think that was, no one thought we were gonna have that good of a year. Everyone thought it was gonna be over. I still don't like the coach. I'm blanking out on the name.
Top Bowls.
Yeah, I still think he needs to get going. But I'm sorry. Now listen, I would like to be wrong. I would love for the Bucks to take a run. That'd be pretty sick. I just don't see it happening.
Yep, I agree. Just setting up
The
for
defense
heartbreak.
will somehow keep us within decently range, but the offense ain't gonna put up points.
But they could. That's the thing. They
Yeah,
could.
no shit, Matt. It's the NFL. They could.
They could. Like it literally, are we gonna see a good Baker or a bad Baker? Are we gonna get a 5 pass deflection Baker, in big moment plays, or are we gonna see him sling it around? And Rashad White should have a big game as well.
Baker needs to go on the Joe Flacco mindset and say, "Fuck it, Mike Evans down there somewhere and just sling it."
Yep. Yep.
Any final words before we end this pod, boys? Great pod, by the way. Great pod.
Great.
Finishing with that,
I'm honored
dude.
to be your champion. I really am.
Matt, whatever you said,
Am.
you're gonna say it again because you just went.
I heard honored to be champion. That
That's
that
all I
that was
heard
what I
today.
picked up.
I am honored to be your champion. And
For the
I will wear
legacy.
that.
For the
I
legacy.
will wear that belt with pride.
I hope you do. My parting words are, I don't know about you guys, but I did get my W-2 forms. So for those of you that are either paying taxes or tax evading, you might want to get those done
Yeah.
because
When is that? When is that supposed to? When's the time for that?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you.
I think that's like April, bro.
Yeah.
But you
Oh
should do it
no, I think
now.
it's March. I think it's March. I think it's March.
You should do it now.
All I know is, but regardless, me and Grayson will be committed to creating our Clocks on the Stove awards for the 2024 calendar year. Um, I know we will be looking for our football guy of the year and our Clocks athlete of the year and doucher of the year. I will come up with some other awards in the
Yeah,
meantime.
we're
But
gonna need. This year was more of like playing around with it. Next year we're gonna have legitimate. We're gonna have legitimate. We're gonna have legitimate awards and like posts and things.
yes, I agree.
But it was unanimous. Ryan Shazier won doucher of the year.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
leave us out on a quote that I saw from AJ Hawk on the Pat McAfee show that I loved. If everything we acted like was life or death was really life or death, there'd be a lot of dead people around. So
Wow.
sometimes just take a breath. It's not as big of a deal as you think it is.
Yep.
And remember, we suffer more in our imagination than we do in reality.
Love
Do
that.
it.